Welcome back, my fellow duplicates. So in the last episode here, we successfully melted Regolith using a hydrogen rocket. But now I need to be able to automatically supply more and more Regolith to this. So today I'm going to try to tap into all of this space over here and automatically mine up some Regolith and ship it directly into our melter. And if that works, then we will then carry on and ship the rest of the Regolith that I can't melt over there into the shovel farm as well. Now from the last video to now, I've kind of made some modifications here. I had to take the waterfall out a little bit. It was kind of causing a little bit of problems there, so I'm going to replace that with drywall in the background. So hopefully space doesn't steal any of the molten liquid that actually falls through here. And I've also deconstructed that stuff. So we're just going to kind of rework it just a little bit, just to make it work better with the game. Now the other thing I want to tackle here is harvesting Regolith from space. So you can see that I'm already building up several doors here. Dr. Eskimo, please don't sleep over here. That is usually very dangerous. You'll end up falling asleep and then being stuck way out here. I know, right? Your back is sore from floating in a jet suit. It's very complicated, Dr. Eskimo. But right over here, I'm going to build a system that is going to harvest Regolith from space. And it's going to be relatively simple and straightforward. So you might actually find it useful. unlike a lot of other crazy things that I've been up to over here, which, I mean, they're not really practical, but they are cool. Well, they're not cool at all. They're all hot, like really hot, super hot, molten to be exact. The point is, we're not going to manually deliver Regolith and all that stuff over here. This was just temporary. Okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and plan out the Regolith collector and sweeper system that I'm going to build over here. Now, I'm not worried about any sort of space scanner thing, so I don't have to do the doors like this, which is good because as we build those horizontal doors right there, that actually gets rid of the Regolith that's in this form right there. That will actually be deleted. However, the stuff that actually gets thrown around like this will be swept from left to right. So this is an easy way to set up the space scanner, but it's not ideal for harvesting Regolith from space. For that, we want a different arrangement. So I have doors here that'll open up and close just to kind of protect everything. It's usually just a good way to start everything off. And the thing I'm going to want to make use of here is the Robo Miner. So Robo Miner can cover 4 big doors like that. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right here, just like that. Boom. And I'm actually going to space these out quite a bit. So there we have it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's about 6 Robo Miners over there. All right, now I plan to build these out of thermium because that's fairly easy to build. So I've got plenty of niobium on hand. Well, 131 kilograms, but it doesn't take that much. And then I've also got tungsten on hand because I've been able to build up more of that. So there we go. We'll build as many of those as I can. That way they're going to be temperature resistant and we're not going to have any issues here. So I don't have to go the extra mile just to cool it down. Now the trick I'm going to use here so that these things don't become buried the second all of this stuff falls on top of it is I'm going to place them on top of doors. Now because I'm placing these doors horizontal like this, if I open and close them, they will clear the material that falls on top of them, leaving nothing else. So that way these never become blocked up. So rather than just placing these real close by each other and trying to dig up as much as I can, we're just going to space them out nice and wide and then just get rid of any stuff that might just drop right here. So we still have plenty of coverage from here to there. Oh, and by the way, our volcano down here is ready to run. So this thing's kicking out all of this magma and it is now a vacuum. It's been a few cycles since the last one here and I was able to pull it to a vacuum. So we can see here that this thing is completely, fully insulated now. So the heat is not going into the airflow tiles. And this magma will simply stay this temperature from here on out. What I will want to do though is open this up and actually combine these two magma things together so that this thing doesn't back up. So here's the thing, I'm faced with a choice. I can either use some sort of conveyor system to kind of move all the debris to one side and then sweep it right there, or I can try to make several auto sweepers along the way to move that stuff from one side to the other. The limitation I'm facing right now is that my auto sweeper that I would like to use would be made of thermium. However, I'm limited on the amount of tungsten I currently have available. So the problem with that is to get more thermium, I would need to go all the way out here. So that way I could bring back the tungsten that I would need to build that. However, I think there might be some deposits way down here at the bottom of the map that I can still get to. So it's probably my best choice, just to kind of dig that stuff up and avoid another very, very long space trip. So you can see we got a little bit right there, a little bit right there. I tell you what, before I go and do all of that, what I want to kind of figure out here is how do I want to dig this? Because I would like to potentially use this as a farm, kind of like what I'm doing right up here with all of these little water weeds. Maybe. I've kind of floated between melting this down completely, just for all of, I don't know, the sake of melting it down. But then if I'm going to put a dupe down here, I want them to have something to do, so. Alright, I kind of like that pattern. I think that would work pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the priority up on the stuff I actually want to dig to. So that's going to be this little spot right down here. And the priority for everything else is going to go very, very low. Alright, so that should be good. That should give me the tungsten I need to build a shipping rail that is actually quite easy to construct. So rather than using a bunch of doors to kind of create kind of a door conveyor system, I'm just going to focus on auto sweepers and loaders. Alright, now the thing I want to make sure to do here is to make sure I have an overlapping spot for the conveyor loader. So that way that can get to it and that one can get to it, and I'll have to put a loader all the way down here, all by itself. So then I can just repeat that pattern right there. So just like so. And then for the tiles right down here, I'm just going to use Mavic. Boom. And then obviously we're going to need to ship the rail, so that's going to be all of this. Boom. Okay, so once I get everything over here, I'm going to just kick everything out on this end, and we're going to split it into its different pieces. So I want all of the regolith to go down here and go into the melter unit. So I actually have two inputs for the regolith. If I really wanted to feed it a little bit faster, I could do that. That was kind of the thoughts here. Or I put regolith in one spot, and if I wanted to convert stones and whatnot into something different. So when we're looking at this unit here, I actually have two different inputs. Now the reason I have two different inputs is that I might want to insert two different types of material. So regolith makes a lot of sense because I'm going from 0.2 specific heat capacity up to 1, and the fact that we can harvest more from space. However, there is some other stuff that I might want to convert, such as sedimentary rock. I might want to convert that into igneous rock. I can get the same sort of power gain by just converting one material into another. If I wanted to kind of reduce the amount of sandstone I have, I can convert that as well. I'm only going to get a small boost there. We're talking 125%, you know, compared to the 500%ers that we're talking about, but whatever. So another nice thing about something like sedimentary rock is that it actually converts at a lower temperature. Now, if it's going to convert from one to the other into magma, I guarantee it's just going to end up as a solid. It's not actually going to be this nice liquidy stuff that we have down here, this magma. But by the way, dupes, we got this little bit of gold down here. Anybody want to mop this up? Any volunteers? I don't want it to get into here with the rest of this stuff. Not that it would actually be a big deal. 100 kilograms, that's actually not bad. It could, you know, molten metal could just flow through this as well. We don't need to be too crazy about it. And the system will take it. So don't worry about it, dupes. We can melt metal too if we want to. So yes, if we wanted to convert one metal into another, we could run that through here as well. Haha! So many things. Nicholas complained about how many times he's had to build this and rebuild it. They said enough is enough. We're just going to get rid of everything in between these two. It's probably a good choice. Way to think about that, Nicola. By the way, what do we have back here? I have a little bit of automation. Above 1. Ooh, now that the door's opening. Okay, we're going to let some of that liquid flow in. Yes. Yes. What do we have? That steel? Molten steel? Alright, whatever. Bleh. And then it flows through. The thing is, that little bit of what in there? What is on that sensor? It's not going to move because it's gold. Whoever thought molten gold would be the thing that just causes you problems. I can't select the sensor. Sensor. Oh, no, there it is. Oh, there's so many items in here. There's too much decor. Matter of fact, what is the decor in this area? I know that the magma. Okay, let's watch the magma fall. Did that heat up the tiles in the background? No, it didn't. I did hear that it could potentially fall through the space, and I think I did see something about that. I might have seen something in my testing. I got distracted and ended up designing a whole bunch of other things rather than actually testing that. It's cool stuff though, you might see it one time. What? Kenzilla, you came in there and you swept that up? Very nice. All right, one of the other things I had to solve here in between the episodes was that I tapped into this cool slush geyser down here. So it's actually pumping liquid from one tank up into this tank. I noticed that I had some low oxygen production, and that was just because this tank had actually gone below my limit here. So we were below the sump pump level, so now that's no longer a thing. And we're back to producing lots and lots of oxygen, so that's good. That means the base inside of here ended up in a lower oxygen state, where, I think it was about 500 or so grams, but now we're up to 700. I was kind of ignoring it last episode because I was focusing on this so much. Just in case you were wondering, that's what happened. Not really that interesting, just a pump in a tank. Okay, so another thing I'm going to focus on down here is I'm just going to rebuild this. I think we also got some plants down there. There's a good chance I can make this into another nature reserve or something like that. So I'm going to try to build that right down here. Actually, you know what? A park. You need a park sign, at least 2 wild plants, and it can't be bigger than 64 tiles. Okay, good. This can be a park. So we'll get rid of these cots here and dig up some of this stuff. We don't need that anymore. Mr. Spaghetti, I know it's hard to sleep. You got a shine bug in your room. You should really open the door, let it out. Oh man, you even have an egg? That's not good. At least you're not like Nightfire over here, sleeping with a bunch of polluted water. Although, we just removed a couple of cots. That means we're dangerously low on cots from my base. So we need a crispy dupe location. There we go. 1, 2, 3 right there. And then a couple more over here. And then the good old one that's right down over here over by the pips. But you see this? I freed up some room, so now I can make some more rooms. Boom. There we go. Now, how big is this room? What do we have? All right, let's take a look at the room here. 65 tiles. How big is a park? 64. 1 tile. All right, tile. Take this. We're gonna move the ladder. All right, we're gonna do the most complicated thing possible. We're going to move a ladder over here, and I'm going to add 1 tile. It's a landing just before the door, so you can step in. I'm doing the same sort of thing over here, just like that, because I think it's neat. And I'm also going to do this right over here, so that these little apartments have their own little landing and a light. It's just gonna look cool, just like I did up here. Boom, just like that. Just keeping the theme nice and consistent. And there we go. We'll finish off the tiles. Oh yeah. We'll also tile in this stuff, so this looks good. Oh yeah, there we go. Very nice. And 1 more tile right there. Boom, we should have it. Are you kidding me, dupes? You're not done with this? Oh, and by the way, yeah, low priority here because it's just going to get obliterated by space. Build this first, please. Please don't hurt my thermium robo-miners. Please don't. Oh, wait, that stuff needs power too. Okay, let's run that. Oh, you kidding me? I can't run the big doors with the big wires. That's not a big problem. We can fix that. Just after I plug in all this really small, lightweight equipment with a really big wire. Alright, dupes, you have so much to build. Alright, dupes, there you go. You have enough stuff to do. All of this, all of that. Oh, and you already dug all that up. That's good. Wow, way to be productive. How about you dig the rest of it? Alright, dupes, I'm going to leave you alone all night. Please try not to die. And with that in mind, Mr. Dr. Eskimo, you have been barred from flying in the jet suit. Please do not attempt. Who else is narcoleptic? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to set this to save every single cycle. If a dupe dies, then we'll kind of roll back to the point where they didn't die. Hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I'll run the game at normal speed. There's a brand new Humble Bundle available, Computer Productivity and Coding by Mercury. Learn useful skills like C programming, game development using Python, AutoCAD 2020 3D modeling, or dive into machine learning with TensorFlow 2. You can pay what you want, and not only will this go to help support my channel, but it'll also go to help support 2 great charities as well. One Life to Love and the Innocent Lives Foundation. Thank you so much for your time and your support. Have a wonderful day. Alright, so it's the next day and the dupes have been hard at work. So you can see that we've built up all of these doors up here. So those are constructed, and I'm still finishing off the rest of the conveyor loaders and auto sweepers right here. These are actually taking a little bit longer than I was first anticipating, and that's because we need to build up so much thermium down here, so I actually needed to dig up quite a bit of it. And it looks like things kind of stalled out here because we ran into a little bit of an issue here. So I've been digging up the ice biome a little bit down here just to kind of get to these metals, and you can see that we've got a little bit of wolframite right there, and right there. So, well, I thought originally it would be a little bit faster just to build this stuff out of thermium rather than construct a whole cooler unit. Now in hindsight, I think just hooking this up to a steam turbine and then having a little bit of loop that ran through it probably would have been the idea that would have made this work a little bit faster. But that time has already passed, and we are continuing to build this thing up here, and look at how happy Meep is about it. Look at him. Doot, 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 doot. Bam, just like that. Supplied the auto sweeper. Okay, so one thing I'm going to want to do here is actually automate this little door a little bit, because if it's just closed like this, that's not going to do it, and if it's open, well, then it's going to disable the robo miner. Okay, so the automation that I'm going to do here is going to be a NOT gate to a filter and then to a buffer, just like this. So this will create a loop that allows me to open and close the door for a certain amount of time. So we send the NOT of whatever this signal is. It takes a little bit, goes through here, comes around, boom, just like that. And it's going to go around and around and around. So this door will open and close on a given interval. So then I can take that interval and I can just stretch it out to the rest of these doors. So then when I have this all set up, I can cycle these doors open and close maybe once every 100 seconds or so. So that way, as this material falls down, if it happens to fall on here, we can consume all of this in one cycle right there, and then the RoboMiner would be free to kind of dig up and do the rest of its work there. So did my dupes survive the night unscathed? Well, actually they did not. They actually ended up, about 8 of them ended up dying. So here's what happened. It's absolutely ridiculous. So here's what happened. This atmosphere over here had reduced down to the point where it wasn't thermally conducting between the steam turbine and the pipes in the background. That caused this liquid down here to get too hot. And once that got hot enough, it eventually damaged the liquid reservoir enough to actually let some crude oil out. That crude oil happened to fall over here and then flow all the way over here down into this spot, where it was picked up by this pump. This pump pumped it all the way over here from the left to the right, through all of the pipe spaghetti over here, finally ending up down here inside of the electrolyzers. And at that point, it came out of the electrolyzer, overpressurizing it, which caused the electrolyzers to shut down. And because the electrolyzer shut down, all of this piped oxygen that actually feeds people like Kitty or Drandolph or some of the other dupes that are kind of up there that are completely reliant on the piped oxygen, they suffocated over many, many hours. So while I was sleeping in the other room, that whole crazy chain of issues happened, and I came back and had to reload the game and run the cycles again. So I think that was my personal record for the longest chain reaction that leads to a dead duplicate. It's pretty nuts. All I did is disable this pump, and I put in a canister emptier right there. Boom, the pressure went back up, solving that problem, and then this thing down here really, it doesn't have to run all that often, so I just disabled it for now. Problem solved. Alright, so I think it's time for a new duplicate. Welcome to the base, Kinks. And thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter. Okay, one of the other things I was doing here is I've restricted the access for some of these duplicates that are doing a lot of ranching and whatnot. So they actually cannot leave the center biome here. So this is where they currently live. Just because they have so much ranching and whatnot, I don't really want them to run around. I don't really think they were running around that much, but just kind of want to make sure that that isn't an issue there. You can see that both Tenrog and Ducklas right here are pretty much just in this area. I think Pancake King is another dupe that I can restrict to just the center biome here. There we go, the rocket is blasting off again. You can see we have all of this magma down here. Now, unfortunately, it seems to be kind of on this side, but not that side. I like the idea of using the sensor here to kind of build it up, just so you can kind of see it working. We don't necessarily need this here. We could just let it drip down. One thing I've noticed here is that I did have to put in the background tiles, but the other thing is that I had to put in this little robo miner as well, because until the background tiles are heated up to the point where it stays a liquid as it runs past this, it actually will go from a liquid to a solid as it's going past it. So you can see that it's heating up the background tiles here. So if I just flip this real quick, you'll see that the magma will fall through. But there it melts a few times, which is not cool. Or, sorry, it solidifies a few times right there, and that's not cool. So that's why I put the little robo miner in there. Hopefully that issue will take care of itself, given enough time. I do have lots and lots of magma down here. Look at this. Kinks! Oh man! There you go, finding yourself into a jet suit. Oh my gosh, you're so slow. Look at this. You had to come all the way over here. What, just to sweep up some regolith? That's it? You know, we're building a whole system up here, Kinks, just to do that. Well, I've managed to take an improved frame rate and bring it back down to the unimproved frame rate. We're sitting at a good, 10 frames per second. All right, so we just got to run a bunch of power over here to all of these doors and the automation. Oh, come on, dupes, you can do it. All right, so I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that we are just about done with the regolith sweeping system over here. All of these doors are just about plugged in. I just need to build this one last piece right there, and we should be good to go. And we'll also deconstruct that as well. Haha. We also have all this automation down here on the bottom. So what I've done here is I just use the knot, and then I have a filter gate. This sets the interval for how many times I want the doors to open and close. So in this case, I want to set this for, I don't know, 60 seconds, maybe more, maybe like 80. All right, we'll just do 60 for now. And then the buffer gate keeps the true signal for a good long time so that the doors open and close. So that can just stay 5. That's all that does, right? So as we open up this door, we'll be able to build the rest of this with Ren. Ren's got it covered. But the tragic news was the unfortunate passing of JB51. Sorry, bud, you're right next to Val. Unfortunately, while I was editing the video in the background, I did not hear his cries for help, because unfortunately, he got cooked to death trying to fix the pipes inside of here. These dupes, as they move into this area, it's 1,300 degrees Celsius, so their suits simply cannot protect them from the heat, and they very, very quickly become incapacitated. And the amount of time it takes to get them from here to the cot all the way back down here is too much, apparently. So unfortunately, that's what happened. Sorry, bud. We'll just put a cot in right over here. That way, hopefully, if it happens to another dupe, they can at least make it to safety before they expire. This is turning out to be quite difficult. One of the problems I had with this is that the pipes started bursting again. Might have something to do with the 1,300 degrees over here. But the other thing is that the amount of hydrogen that was being produced by my system over here was actually stopped because it had completely backed up. I have too much oxygen. So I've actually resorted to, well, I need to have a way to vent the extra oxygen I produce over here if I have nowhere else for it to go. That way I can continue to fill these pipes, keep them full, because when they go less than 10 kilograms per spot, that causes issues. There's just lots of little cascading problems that I'm finding like this. But then again, this is all new problems here. I had never really dealt with an environment that's 1,300 degrees Celsius, so that's something new. But with that comes a lot of these challenges. So upgrading this from ceramic to insulated would be one good way to kind of make this a little bit more resilient. But the other thing is to also rework this system here so that I only ever output 10 kilogram chunks into the pipe rather than having these weird ones that kind of find their way in there, which might be, 2.5 kilograms or so. And those are the ones that actually end up bursting. Anyhow, plenty of things to fix, but I'm not going to worry about it today. All right, so good deal. This has been automated here. So the next time a meteor shower shows up, these space scanners are going to send a signal all the way over here from the left to the right, which is going to cause these doors to close. So I guess they should be open, huh? Right? That's green, 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 green. Ah, where's the automation? No! Gosh, I'm already like 12 hours of gameplay into this thing. This is ridiculous. It's not like 12 hours of actual cycle times, but I've had to like go back and start over a few times just because I'm trying to let the game run while I have a life in the background. But it's turning out to be quite difficult. We can manually open this stuff up. At least then we can see how it will dig through the regolith and start to run there. Alright, so we can see that the regolith buried this guy over here, so it's now not able to actually do anything. But as we see this unit here, if we set this to something a little bit faster, maybe 20 seconds or so, just to see it happen, we're going to start to clear out all of this regolith. So the door opens, it starts to fall down, and we clear out a layer of regolith right there. And you can see what happened right here. That cleared out enough regolith to see where the robo miner is now digging and processing that regolith. Who's in? Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. Shredder here, poor dupe, is just being cooked. Hopefully somebody can make their way over to Shredder before they expire. You got 114 seconds. Oh, you only got 65 seconds left. Come on. 45 now. Yes. 30 seconds. Oh, you made it with about 18 seconds to spare. No, 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 no! And this is the other problem. Okay, so this is why when you put them on a cot and they're inside of their jet suit, they actually don't end up on the cot. Clay, I've actually broken your game this time again. You still had time. You got 9 seconds. Come back over here, please, please. No, I want you to move over here. Who's the dupe that's trying to help you, Shredder? I literally don't know. I don't know who's on their way to try to heal you. I have no idea who's trying to help you. Okay, I can't find any duplicant that's actually trying to make their way up here to do this. So we will reassign that to Shredder, and we're going to make that priority level this, and that, and maybe all Carnage will help him out. Whose errand is it to do this? Well, Shredder can't put themselves in the cot. Ugh. Killed by a bug. Okay, that one, that one's making me feel a little salty. I just don't have the time for that right now to play the game because it's broken. Oh, and now the meteor shower opened up and has bombed the crap out of my robo miners. Alright, so after a few moments here, we are back up and running. We are completing the automation for these bunker doors. Very nice dupes. Some of them are up and running. You can see that we've cleared out the stuff below the robo miner. If it does get blocked up, you see that that door will actually interrupt the robo miner for just a moment, but it does clear out all of the regolith on top, and then it proceeds to do the rest of the work that it needs to do right there. So very good. And we can see that all of the regolith is actually stacking up right here, so that's good. I think rather than using a conveyor receptacle though, I think I'm going to get rid of that and just replace it with a conveyor chute. That seems to be a better option. Otherwise that thing just ends up completely backed up. I'd rather it move over there and maybe I can do something else to add more to it. As far as the pipe situation right here, I've actually just disconnected it. Some poor dupe is going to have to go in here and change it all to insulated pipe. I'm already trying to process as much insulation as possible down here. That is set to continuous. There we go. Aha, this is what I wanted to see. See all of this regolith drop down, and we can see that it's so backed up, but watch this. Door opens up, and this regolith starts to get consumed. 1 tile per cycle right there, so pretty neat. Now this regolith here is actually not ending up in a little chunk like that. It is actually just being deleted completely. So maybe rather than running this every, well, I have it set up for 5 seconds right now just so that you can see it happen in real time. I'd actually set this to be quite a bit slower so it doesn't interrupt the robo miners quite as much. So maybe 30 seconds or so. That way we can get several digs done in that same amount of time. So here it is at 30 seconds. If I speed it up, you can see that we get, what, 1, 2, 3. This thing digs just about 6 times. So maybe about 33 seconds. And since all of this stuff is capable of running at a very high temperature, we don't have to worry about stuff overheating. All right, who's making a mess? Oh no, my dupes. Oh, dude, in the shower, fuzzbutt. Oh no. And JB51, dude, you're blocking up the toilet. Oh. All right, I think I'm going to have to put in another lavatory. Although that hasn't been a problem this entire time. And they just know I'm trying to finish up the video. These dupes. All right, so here we go. It's going to run again. This Regolith should drop down on this. And what I should see is that the temperature of this RoboMiner will decrease. Yep, it goes right back down to 305. That's just the temperature of that Regolith that dropped on top of it. So good deal. That's working as intended. Very nice. So there you have it. That is the Regolith mining system up there. I think I'm mining a lot more Regolith than I can make use of right now, but I will get to a point here. I'll probably go ahead and not only ship it over here to turn into magma, but we'll also ship it down here just to feed the rest of these shovels as well. But I think next time what we're going to take a look at is boosting the amount of thermal energy that we can get out of this rocket. But that'll have to happen here in the next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. If this looks like the channel for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Stay awesome, guys. Peace. Brothgar out. Oh, are you guys actually able to be inside of here? Because it's low pressure? Quick! Dupes! Deconstruct the pipes while you have the chance. Liquid pipes. Deconstruct. Yes, all of them. Very high priority. You can do it. You can do it. Don't get crispy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, Nicola, you need to get out of there, bud. You're getting roasted. I'm gonna have to watch these dupes like a hawk. Oh, what a pain. Oh no, Ren, you're getting cooked too. Oh no. All right, guys, I'll see you again next time. Bye.